guess. Ready for the clap?
I'm not going to clap my hand.
How did we book the one guy who can't clap for this?
Shut up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and baby girls, welcome to an exciting episode of the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast.
Wait, Governor,
Know that I'm coming correct.
let me talk to you guys about something that they can do both drunk and high that is extremely pleasant.
I think our podcast needs a budget for guns.
Cowboy. Rowdy. Well, shoot, dang. Crack a cold one, baby. What is it with this fucking podcast?
It's your host, Gambeezy Berry, and joining us as always, Monterey Bay comic and show producer, Michael Booth.
How's it going?
Thanks for being here, sir, as always. Also joining us, sound engineer and general awesome guy, Sebastian McCabe.
That's me. I'm here. That's I got awesome guy on my title now. That's great.
I feel like you're in haircut debt at this point. Also joining us from Santa Cruz, very funny comedian and show producer as well, Sam Weber. Thanks for joining.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Yes.
Hello.
Oh, it's good to be here, man. How's life in Santa Cruz right now?
Unseasonably warm. Just kidding. It's like it's a beach town. It's
great.
Everything. Anytime anyone's like, how you doing today? And I'm in Santa Cruz, it's just like, another day in paradise. Like,
I'm pissed off at paradise. I'm complacent.
I pay an unholy amount to live by the beach, and I barely even go to the beach anymore. So why am I here?
Yep. Awesome. I couldn't help but notice when we were talking earlier, I got to update the listeners. What's going on with your hand?
Okay, so obviously my hand is screwed up. It was a really serious masturbation accident.
Jeez.
I got
Too much lube,
too
dude.
much lube. It slipped. It was a disaster.
You're the only person I know who was in a bomb incident and injured their hand, and the bomb did not cause the injury.
I know,
How
right?
was
That's I wanted to be a hero, so I just did some stolen valor and injured myself to make it look like I stopped the bomb from going. Okay, so if you're listening out there, my name is Sam Weber. I run a drive-in comedy show in Santa Cruz, in the top floor of a parking garage in downtown Santa Cruz. It's called Comedy Audiences in Cars Watching Comedy. I'm very proud of that stupid name.
The only one of its kind.
Yes.
In Santa Cruz.
It's the only one of its kind, if you're not willing to drive more than 30 miles. But so we've been doing it for about 2 months, pretty consistently in the same spot, same time, same day. So,
Hear nothing but good things, by the way. Hear nothing but good things.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I heard that from the bomber. So basically what happened was last night, about halfway through, someone planted an M80 in a shoe. And this is
crazy.
This is Santa Cruz, so of course it was a Birkenstock. And it actually was a Birkenstock. We pissed off some gluten-free lesbian, and she blew up her sandal.
She sacrificed it.
She sacrificed it
to
the gods of comedy.
I don't understand how she couldn't have just done the bomb. Why the shoe? Sorry, keep going.
The shoe, I think, it wasn't. See, this is Santa Cruz. We don't have terrorist actions. We have terroristic performance art.
Yes.
And
the
that's
exploding
what it
Birkenstock is symbolic of
exactly. Yeah, they were blowing up the patriarchy.
of being able to go outside. We can't walk around anymore. So.
It's better than them wearing the Birkenstock, but anyways. Yeah.
Yeah, whoever this was, I mean, either they randomly just guessed, and they guessed really well, or they knew that that where they put it was, because there's not much happening in downtown Santa Cruz right now, and there's one place in downtown Santa Cruz right now, where there's over 100 people watching the same thing.
Yeah.
And they put a bomb right behind that. So they obviously knew what they were doing. And kudos to them for being more organized than my comedy show. So So that's impressive. That's
More
something.
bombers showed up than booked comics. An audience is an audience.
Hey man, I mean my thing has been like I think it's impressive. I've been doing this 10 years. I'm still finding new ways to bomb. You know, it's pretty cool.
always
Did
learn
anybody bomb
something.
harder than the shoe?
That's you know what's crazy is somebody. So like, we've all walked an audience member.
Yeah.
But before the shoe bomb, somebody drove an audience member. Like somebody driving out, and then the shoe bomb happened,
Okay.
and then more people are like, "Okay, I'm done. I've seen it. I saw somebody bomb, and then I saw somebody bomb. I'm done. I think I'm good. You know, have a good
this is
night, you
enough.
guys."
I'm not gonna risk my safety for this garbage.
My thing
Honestly,
is like,
you can drive any car you want as long as it's a Prius, because no one will notice. But if you're driving out like a Mustang or something, you can go to hell.
Yeah, you
somebody
stand out
somebody
more.
pulled up in a Tesla, and I was like, first of all, you are flexing on all of us. We're doing stand-up comedy in a goddamn parking lot, and you're flexing on us in a Tesla. Second of all, where'd you come from? What the hell was that? Oh, all of a sudden there's a car. What the hell?
Oh my god.
I love it.
Uh,
So, bomb goes
How did
off.
you actually fall though?
Yeah.
How did I
still
actually
understand-
fall? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I didn't learn. You know how, like, in Tom Cruise movies, he's always calmly walking away from the explosion. So I did the opposite. I am an idiot. I did it totally wrong. The bomb goes off, and I ran straight towards it, and I was like,
I'm gonna catch
maybe there's more shit. I gotta figure it out. I gotta see what's going on. I immediately get to the bottom of the ramp. I was doing my impression of the president. I got to the bottom of the ramp and fell, and that's how I hurt my hand. Is I was sprinting down. I was running to, and it's funny because like the song I'm listening to just switched, and now I'm listening to "Run, Run, Run" by Velvet Underground. So that's perfect timing. But yeah, a bomb went off. I'm an idiot. I ran straight for it and immediately fell and smashed my hand. And now it looks like something actually happened, and no, nothing happened.
I love that you make fun of the president, because I'm pretty sure a clip of a young man saying he fell down a ramp would actually play on Fox News right now. And the president.
Antifa pushed me down a ramp because I was
How
trying
can
to
this
defend
liberal
comedy.
media still attack our president when even young men in liberal states are falling down ramps?
Santa Cruz,
I can see it.
California. It's the bastion of liberalism.
This
Those
hellhole people
Antifa
are just-
libtards, they still fall down ramps.
What
But
caused
yeah.
him to fall? Progressive ideals? Yeah, no, for sure.
Birkenstocks. Birkenstocks caused me to fall down. But yeah, I mean, that's the
It was
thing.
Birkenstock bombs, damn it. Oh.
So you can see,
That's
like,
what the
I
rap is
actually-
on?
I actually I actually smashed my hand a little bit, and so like as I went back, up the ramp because I was hosting the show, like I was like hosting.
You weren't
the
supposed
show.
to be doing what you were doing.
And somebody was like, "Oh my god," because somebody saw my hand and saw it cuts, and their first response was like, "The bomb got you." No, the bomb didn't get me. I got me. I'm an idiot.
I got.
I'm not an outdoor boy. More of
Outdoors
an
is hard. People don't talk about it enough. It's hard.
I'm more of an indoor boy.
Hey, speaking of outdoor, we're going to go into a little bit about your background in a second, but let's get you
Sounds
into
good.
the audience. We'll take you into a little skit we do. It's called Battle of the Brands. You want to take us in, Michael?
Yeah, the Battle of the Brands today. We got best thing to throw on the barbecue.
It's barbecue.
Best
weather,
item
man.
to throw on the barbecue.
Shoe bomb. Shoe bomb.
Yeah, it's fucking
That's the one, right?
Birkenstock with an M80 in it.
M80 and a Birkenstock.
All the fireworks that have been going off in my neighborhood every night would probably fit right in. I don't think anyone would notice.
All right, so I won that one. Great.
Can I submit one for second place?
Yeah.
A whole fucking chicken with a beer can shoved up its ass.
Oh, those are good though.
Yeah, I didn't understand what that would do until one of my roommates did that pretty recently, and I said, "What are you doing with that beer? Like, are you drinking it or what?" And he was like, "No, I'm gonna shove it up the chicken's ass." I thought, that's completely insane. Why would you do that? And also,
That's
too,
unhinged.
to me, it just seemed crazy to just like put a container of liquid inside and then put it on the barbecue. But that's all he fucking did, and it tasted great.
I've never heard of that because I
Yeah,
always use a bottle of Kvassier.
Yeah.
But
See,
There's
yeah,
actually,
that works
there's actually
too.
like there's a platform you can get for it if you want to use you can kind of set the chicken on it and then place the beer can in like this little kind of like cup holder thing, and
They make equipment for this.
yeah.
We
That
were
is
just
not
doing
good.
it ghetto
They make a
style.
little platform you can put on your grill.
Do not underestimate Southern engineering.
Yeah,
okay?
that's
Yeah.
incredible. I gotta find one of those.
If there's a way to cook something with a beer, they've figured it out.
100%.
We have the
say
and,
that's
it's,
100%.
and it's good.
for barbecue items, I think honestly sausage. And hear me out before you go call me a piece of shit. If I cook a steak on a nice like cast iron skillet, that steak's gonna be bomb. If I put it on a barbecue, it's still bomb. Is it better than cast iron skillet?
Yes.
I would disagree.
Nah,
I would
it's
disagree.
debatable.
Chicken, I cook some bomb chicken. My lemon herb garlic baked chicken is to die for. Fried chicken, spicy fried chicken to die for. Barbecue chicken to die for. But is it that much better than spicy fried chicken? Now take a sausage and boil a sausage. That's a dog shit meal. You put it in a fucking barbecue, you're eating like a king. The barbecue literally transforms sausage into not a piece of shit food group. So that's why I think sausage, because it's the biggest come up.
I'll take that. I mean, how do you lay your sausage along the grill grates or like so that you get like
You're
slice.
You're
So-
asking if I'm a
so,
psychopath. Okay.
Parallel to the grill grate or perpendicular to the grill grate.
Perpendicular wrapped in bacon, or else get the fuck out of my
Oh,
barbecue.
you are an insane person. What are you, Guy Fieri?
What are you doing? What are you doing? Your heat is more even front to back on your barbecue than it is left
Yeah,
to
that's a
right.
little too much, man.
Wrapped in
I mean,
bacon?
a little too much.
You are a lunatic. I don't trust you with food.
Oh, you guys gotta get out of here. You trying to eat
that's
one of
Birkenstocks.
the-
I can't trust any of your opinions.
Okay, all right, fine. I'll take back my shoe bomb. That's not what I put on the grill. Fine.
As long as we're having actual opinions.
All right, fine. Okay, so what do I put on my grill? Oh, I know. I don't mean to be that guy, but I have when I go to a barbecue, when we're talking Q, we're going to a Q.
Yeah.
I bring Sam's Famous Burgers. They are quite something. Okay, so
They sound famous.
the way you make Sam's Famous Burgers, you're gonna take 2 pounds of ground beef. You're gonna take a bottle of Trader Joe's Island Soyaki. Half of that
Ooh,
bottle
I like soyaki.
in the ground beef. Chop in some red onions. Now that's the key because the red onions are gonna get sautéed inside the burger. Now you're gonna mix it all together, add some salt and pepper, and create. You're gonna create about 8 patties. Throw those on the grill, and then you top with avocado and bacon and some cheese, and then you got Sam's Famous Burgers. But
You cannot be doing this shit to me on Saturday at noontime,
is.
dog. You are crushing me
It
right
is
now.
the best burger
You piece
ever
of shit.
had.
We're in quarantine. Only Chipotle's open. You're an asshole.
No, nobody sells Sam's Famous Burgers. That's why they're Sam's Famous Burgers. They are the best
Oh,
burgers,
my
and only
goodness.
I do them.
Hey, I want to have one of those. I'm down to be a sponsor, patron, ghostwriter, whatever I need to
As
get one
soon
of those.
as they let us have comedy at the Poet, I'm going to make Sam's Famous Burgers for everybody. They are absolutely the best burger I've ever tasted. I promise
Dude,
you.
Nice.
I'm actually down to help feed the masses. I'll make some bacon wrapped hot dogs for everybody too. If you do a big.
All right. You know what? I accept in the
Yes.
the name of getting past quarantine. As long as you don't shoe bomb me, I don't care. What
I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my.
Your standards for social interaction have been lowered so drastically by that.
Instant PTSD.
What are you throwing on there?
I made these chicken wings for the Super Bowl when people were over this year, and I wanted to. I think if I put them on the barbecue right
Those were
before I
good.
served them up, it might have changed the game a little bit. I I crock
That's
pot
why the
them
Niners
for
lost, you son of a
yeah. I
bitch.
put them in the crock pot for a really long time, and I think I should have done shorter time in the crock pot, and then to get the flavor kind of seep into the meat, and then throw them on a bar. I should have had a barbecue going, and I should have threw them on there, and then I reduced the sauce down. I should have brushed it back on, and they should have been like crispy little charcoal with the sauce.
So your best
It
thing to
would've been
throw on a
amazing.
barbecue is a thing you didn't, and so this is kind of like you learning from your lessons a little
Yep.
bit.
Yeah.
This is more of a growing experience for
It's
Michael.
like this would have been the best thing I could have put on a barbecue for sure. Yeah.
You know, I thought that the reason the 49ers lost is because their defense took their foot off the gas in the second half.
Because
but
of my
really,
wings.
what happened was
Yep.
had
Didn't put on the
nothing to do with
barbecue.
Patrick Mahomes. It was
It was
all
me.
your shitty crock pot wings. Come on, it's Bush League.
I'm sorry. I will do better next time.
Okay, so that's probably
Also
one of our least
I
competitive.
also invite you next time, and you're not getting any of the wings.
Okay, I accept. Because you know what? Not only did your wing mishap cause the Niners to lose the Super Bowl, it also caused
COVID.
coronavirus.
I was gonna say. It
Yeah.
Caused coronavirus.
Yeah, and I told him
Can't
that,
believe
and he
I
still
can't-
didn't do anything about
Can't
it.
believe you would do this to us. You chose.
Well, just so you know,
What did you put that in your chicken wings?
I coordinated the Birkenstock.
I was wondering why you bought all that Birkenstock stocks.
Stock market.
Stockgate.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
Listen,
thanks for playing that.
I just lost like $1 million on the Birkenstocks.
Yeah.
Fucking bankrupt and
Stock
destitute.
market.
I knew I should have gone in for the fucking Doc Martens, but no.
Yeah, the stock market
no,
is plummeting.
I mean, you got to be a really cool, like, 22-year-old that loves cigarettes. That's when you get the Doc Martens.
Fuck, I'm not 22 anymore. Shit.
You can get the
I
vanity
missed my
print.
chance, dude. The market fucking swept right
So you gotta
past
be.
me.
I was gonna say you gotta be Matt Bachmeyer. Is that what we're saying?
Oh, it's been like 10 episodes since we did a Bachburn. So, how not for the Bachburn.
Man.
So
Okay.
now that we got that battle of brands out of the way, let's get into the guests a little bit. So you mentioned UCS. What's college? You're good, Santa Cruz.
Yes.
University of Santa Cruz.
I went to USC. I went to
Yeah.
University of Santa Cruz.
Okay, and so
I went to UC Santa Cruz. I studied film and digital media. I minored in electronic music because I firmly believe I have a future in being an intern forever.
you're like, can I mix tracks and give coffee? They're like, that's 102.
Yeah. Well, you know what sucks is it's not that that's what my degree is, but that I spent 9 years trying to get it, and it took me
Yeah.
almost a decade to get a degree in beep boop beep boop beep boop beep.
Well, that's at least you got it
could be
done. I
worse.
mean, imagine
I
if it took
spent-
2 decades.
I spent 5 years to not get a degree, so.
Oh
Could be
yeah,
worse.
you know, you're halfway to what I did.
So
I mean,
like,
I
I'll
dropped
say
out of
this.
college to do open mics, so like my
Well,
judgment's
that's kind of a
probably not
passion.
the best.
Well, no, that's a strong passion. I think it's a good indicator. When you look back, you won't look back and be like, man, I really should have sped up that college time. If anything, you'd be like, I should have dropped it sooner, So hopefully that's a trajectory for all of us, But I think you, as someone who's producing shows regularly, working with comics from all over and bringing people from all over into your scene, like, you're doing a good job. You're doing a hell of a good job. So
Yeah, I mean my
Coming-
last spring break was just on tour, so that's fun. I got something.
Well, I mean, coming into comedy though, how has it been with that background? I would think that the background in like everything you were working on was great for comedy because now comedians are producing their own stuff. Everybody's doing everything in house. Like, isn't that super awesome background for a comedian nowadays?
To be able to like have my own setup and everything, sure,
And
yeah.
production knowledge and stuff. Yeah.
It's nice. It was nicer before I broke my sample pad. Because what I had was I had my rim shots and an air horn, brr, brr, brr. And so I would do like these Zoom shows, and I would just hit people with it.
Yeah. Laying in.
And just like so over the top. And then God was like, you got to stop doing that. So my sample pad just like went belly up. So now and like obviously this is a great time to spend a bunch of money on electronic music equipment. So
Yeah.
so yeah, currently I have my little studio space. What I feel really thankful for is that right before the shutdown happened, me and my roommate got really into woodworking.
Oh, sick.
And so this studio that I have is our large closet. We have a huge closet, and
Same.
it was just I mean everybody, right?
Yeah.
It was just like totally overflowing with crap that was covering the floor. And so we built, I don't know if you can see.
Ooh, shelves.
we
Bang, bang,
built-
bang. You blurred background, but I can see the framework of the shelf.
Yeah, and that's all that matters. It's not a pretty shelf. So that was our
It's a
first
frame.
project. So we built that. And then we were like, okay, so now we have the extra space. So we built the desk here, as you can see. We built
Heck
the
yeah.
studio desk. And then the shutdown happened. And my roommate is he's getting his PhD in chemistry. So he has to teach. I mean, that's his job, is teaching.
Yeah.
So as soon as the shutdown hit, we were like, "Oh, thank God we built this studio," because
He can teach via there, right?
So he comes in here and teaches, and I come in here and do Zoom shows and make Stoner Garage Rock. So we're equally valuable in the space.
To society.
We're both
essential.
doing totally important stuff.
You guys are keeping America going.
I know that he's only teaching, and it's not as important as me getting stoned and doing the beat boops. But but I'm not here to denigrate him or it's molding young minds or whatever. I don't care. We're both doing good.
I shall say this: you have like this media production education background, but what came through for the online function is that you were a woodworker now. Like, it sounds like you were doing anything to avoid utilizing your college. You're like, fuck USC, they do nothing. Sam Weber is intellectual property completely separated from the USC campus.
Look, man, I am a complicated and heroic American. I am truly God's greatest miracle.
So with that woodworking and shit, did you do it because you just you knew the size of desk and shit that you needed, and was it did you ever think about just going to Ikea and buying something, or was it from the beginning we're gonna build
pandemic.
this from scratch and have it custom?
Well, pretty much everything in our apartment is Ikea stuff.
You gotta mix it up.
Ikea, I don't want to surprise or offend you.
I'm on an Ikea desk right now, man. Say it.
I don't want to besmirch the good name.
Don't break
of
a sponsor
Ikea.
deal. Don't break a
Yeah.
sponsor deal, Sam.
I mean, what are they gonna forget to pay you the way they forget to give you 7 screws? It's Ikea crap. They use it and then they take the sawdust to make their meatballs.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They make sawdust particle board crap, and then they make sawdust meatballs. But I have a
They're
friend.
delicious.
I don't know if you guys have met her. She's a Santa Cruz comic. That she's just she stays in Santa Cruz. Caroline Hawkins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she just bought a house because she's a privileged yuppie, and so she has she's really into woodworking, and she turned her garage into our little woodworking space.
Sick.
And so I was like, I need a shelving unit, and then I couldn't find. This is a strange dimensioned studio area. This closet is just weird dimensions. So.
Yeah.
The only way to do it was just build something myself. And I was like, hey, Caroline, how do I do this? And she was like, fucking buy wood.
Get a tape measure, make it
Yeah.
fit. Yeah.
Make it desk shape.
It's
exactly.
like, oh, you're real bad. Oh, you're real bad at this.
Yeah. I was like, oh, planning. That's crazy. I was just gonna start nailing stuff together.
Yeah.
So I drew like a stick figure drawing, and that's about as far as I got. And like the measurements were right, but it was also a stick figure, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just like, why does it look like
the dimensions of the wood itself and everything?
Yeah, I didn't think. So the measurements were like fine, but stick figure. So I bring home the lumber, and I bought the L brackets to support everything. And so cut to me in my living room, and this is like a carpeted like apartment living room with 50 pounds of lumber cut to random sizes.
Oh my!
And
gosh.
I can't figure out how to put it together. So I have packaging tape, and I've taped part of it to the wall so that I can try to visualize, and then I'm just kind of screwing stuff together like that's standing up.
You Ikea'd yourself.
My roommate comes home and goes and just, what are you doing? Like because he's a PhD student, so like obviously everything is just like logical, and it's just like there's a way to do and he's just like, this is unhinged behavior. And so immediately he jumps in and he's like, what's your plan? And I was like, stick figure. I do the stick figures, and he was just like, no. And he takes measurements, and he takes the stick figure drawing, and he gets a new piece of paper and goes in his room. And you know what? I'll be right back. I want to show you guys how different the images
drawings
are between. Yeah, because it's
please do.
So fun. I'll be right back.
All right.
This will play really well on an audio medium.
Dude, what's so funny is like was it like 3 years ago, I had a woodworking spree I went in because I had a friend who was building his own woodworking shop, just like his friend is. And it got to the point where like I learned about planing. Do you guys know what planing is in woodworking?
No.
It's okay. It's okay. So planing is what you do where you take a piece of lumber, whether you bought the lumber already cut or whatever, and you plane it so that all the edges are perfectly cut flat. Because usually logs and stuff are warped. So when you get into planing, you get into a whole nother level of like woodworking. It's crazy. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no! I mean, you know better than me. So I'm just finding everything. So here is what I did. I don't know. Can you see that?
It's going in and out of focus, but it doesn't look like there's much to see, to be honest. Okay, yeah, that looks terrible.
3D work,
Can you
nice.
see that?
Oh, that's got dimensions. That's got
super
dimensions.
basic.
Okay,
It's
it's got
got
the
I
word.
doodle that. I doodle that in the side of my notes sometimes at work. Yeah.
And
It's not the
so
worst.
he went away, and here's what he came up with.
Yeah, it's hard to see his. It's really out of
that
focus.
looks-
Oh my
Way-
god. Okay. Oh my god. How do I focus? All right. You have to see how good his is compared
if
to
it covers
how
your face, it might do
miserably
it.
bad mine is.
There's a lot more straight lines on the one that he made. It definitely looks
Yeah.
a little more
Yeah.
like
There's
that's
a
one
clear
that you would
quality
hand
difference.
to somebody else to build. The one that you had.
I wish I
is
could
the
have
one
watched you
for
draw
yourself.
what you drew. That would
I would have loved to watch this being done. Yes, this would have been very
The
funny.
way-
This is actually good reality
Like
TV.
side by side, it would have looked like just like a 5-year-old
Draw it from
versus like
memory.
an adult.
Let's see this.
Just okay. So I unblurred. Okay, so can you see this?
Okay, that's terrible. Yeah, that's really.
Oh yeah, this is.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's a functional plan.
It looks
But
like it's
yeah.
gonna have a slight lean to it, just if you build
so
to
then
the design.
Here's his. Can you see this?
Yeah. No, he's actually taken into the measurements of the wood itself, which is pretty critical. Yeah, he's got a couple steps there that you skipped that he actually took.
He's also just like far better at drawing than you are. I'm just saying, based on what I've seen. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of
It
film
looks
for your
like-
roommate. Are you behind on rent? Why is you?
It looks like one adult drew it, and then a monkey that didn't get into community college.
It looked like you saw your dad making plans and you wanted to join in and make. Plans
Yeah,
with
can
your
I
dad.
help? Yes, sure, son. Here's a pencil. Fuck off.
It's like, look
Daddy's trying
what
to
I
work.
drew, Dad.
Yeah, it
I
looks
drew
like
plans too.
Can we
It
put
looks-
mine on the fridge?
yeah, it looks like Like
like,
when
"We'll
you're
build
playing
your
video
shelf too,
games
son."
and your little brother wants to play, so you give him a controller that's not plugged in.
Yeah. And they're just sitting there going ham, and they're like, "Look at I got kills," and you're like, "Yep."
Yep, you sure did.
Your desk is a
You did
circle.
it.
Your drawing is a circle. You're like, I built that.
I did a shelf.
Did you just draw? Hold it up for everybody. Did you just draw one single plank of wood on that right hand side?
He's measuring how many
Just one
cuts he has, I
plank?
think.
I
Right?
couldn't figure it out. I was like, what do
Ugh.
planks look like?
You're like, I can't. I need to draw a piece of wood so I can know what it is.
Hey, this is the base.
What am I using again? Yeah.
First off, what does
reminder.
wood look like?
so
Okay.
my idea is this is a piece of wood. It's gonna change the world. It's a bold idea.
I'm gonna
I'm
take this
surprised
one
there wasn't a thing at
Shelf
the
from
top.
the side view. It's just one single plank. Here's the.
So this part's gonna be the wood.
Yeah. This is me standing on the side of the shelf. Yeah.
and I'm gonna draw a screw.
His first drawing was stick or rock. He's like, what to make shelf of?
Yeah, so I was like, if I'm looking at this piece of wood on the ground, where am I going to put the screws? So I need to draw it.
I should have like drawn a picture. Yeah, like Sebastian, right? I should have drawn a picture of me being like, and here's a picture of me designing the shelf.
Did you-
I'm really good at the shelf, and now I get a balloon for
You get
designing
distracted.
the
You
shelf.
draw the pencil.
Yeah.
You just start drawing
Yeah, I
the
was
pencil
gonna say,
over
you
and
draw a
over
picture of
again.
your screws and all your tools and
Oh my
where's
god.
the self-portrait of yourself, like thinking about the wood?
Okay, you've given me
Yeah.
you've given
What
me an
does
idea
wood
for a new
look
show that I want to co-produce with you, and it's gonna be hilarious.
Holy
Oh
shit!
man. So back to the sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but back to the freaking drive-in
No,
car show thing.
None
How
of
has
this
that
is
been going,
important.
and are you keeping
We don't
it?
need everybody dunking on me for my shitty woodworking abilities. That's
Hey, man, you built something yourself. That's always cool. So,
yeah, my
I've
roommate
got-
did it,
yeah.
and then I was the monkey with the screwdriver. That's all I was. I was like, roommate, do this, and then he was like, okay, idiot, here's where you put the holes, and I was like,
Okay, idiot.
I was just like,
He's a good teacher.
Bill
It sounds
Machine
like.
goes,
Ugh.
"Brr," and then I did it, and then he was like, good, now do it again.
Wow.
He literally he took every piece of wood and labeled it. Like, I don't know if you can see that on the on the thing, but he labeled
Did
every
you do your
piece
thesis
of wood.
on his blueprint? What the
He
heck?
labeled every piece of wood so that I wouldn't screw it up.
He
So
Ikea'd it.
So
the
he
desk,
Ikea'd you.
Yeah, he Ikea'd the desk that I'm looking at. The
You got
G
Ikea.
board. The G board connects to the G joint, and then on the other side it's the H joint. He was just
know what's
like,
funny?
okay, we gotta Sam-proof this table.
You know what you could do to contribute to this, Sam? You could make a song about the G joint connecting to the H joint and all this stuff. And then you guys will have the best instructions possible. on how to
I thought you were
assemble
gonna
the
say. I thought you were gonna be like, you know what you could do to contribute to this, Sam? You could learn how to read.
He sounds like a
desk.
really
Give you
good
some
teacher,
Lego
man.
kits so you understand, like.
I'm gonna laugh if his roommate went in there with a light board and just traced an IKEA print and then just took credit for it. It's like, that's how you make it in the educational system.
Yeah.
The G joint connects to the
Plagiarism.
H joint.
Those who can't woodwork, teach woodworking.
There you go.
So that's
Yeah,
like
Figured
it.
it out.
I like woodworking. I've got a couple pieces in my house that I made myself, and I love them, man. Like, they're the last ones I'll.
I really want a
stop
song
cleaning.
about woodworking from Sam.
You know what? I don't have anything just yet, but I'll work.
Strum away.
Wow, this sounds really
Sounds
bad.
good.
I can't play when my hand's broken.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed?
Oh, there we go.
G joint.
It's an instrumental.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's an instrumental. I'm too stupid to figure out words.
It's my funniest instrumental.
Sorry, I tried to give you something.
The G joint connects to the Sam doesn't know how to read. I'm so bad at guitar right now. I am
Your hand
frazzled.
is blown up, so yeah.
Yeah, my hand is blown up. My song about woodworking is not gonna blow up. We've got a lot going on here.
So, are you planning on keeping the drive-in show going after quarantine? Do you think there's a market for it, or is it something that's just going to go away? You think?
Well, so my stance on this is like, we are, as people, were conditioned to see things as black and white, like because the shutdown happened and suddenly we were like, oh, we are in shutdown now. And at some point there will be like a day when they're like, the shutdown's gone, and then we'll all go outside. But the way that I look at it is, are you familiar with the concept of a bent bone?
Bent bone.
So
Never
your
heard.
bone. Well, usually what happens when your bone gets like, trauma, it breaks, right?
Yeah.
So you fall off your bike, you fall running down a ramp because you heard an explosion. Your bone breaks, right? So that hurts. But your bone's broken, so there's like that satisfaction of it's a break, and now we're gonna put a cast on it, and it's gonna heal, and in 8 weeks it'll be done, right? So that's not the only thing that can happen. You can also bend your bone. Yeah. So
I just don't want to think about that.
bent bone, it hurts just as bad as breaking it, but there's no snap. There's no release. So it just hurts, and it stays bent, and now it has to heal back, and as it's healing back, it's still a bent bone, and so it's still like agonizing
Bending
pain.
the whole time actively, yeah.
Yeah, and now it's bending back, and you're still in the cast, and you don't know when it's going to end, and it still hurts, and it's just going to hurt less and less, and eventually your bone's not going to be bent anymore, and it's going to be back to normal, but you're not going to notice because it's been doing this the whole time. It's been healing and slowly bending back, and so there's never like a moment of catharsis where you're like, all right, I'm done having the bone
it's
hurt
gradual.
and it was broke and now it's fixed. It slowly bends back, and that's how I see, especially with our idiot president just explaining to everybody that it's cool to not wear a mask. Like, we're the only country where the cases are going up. Like, Italy had the worst outbreak ever. And
Yeah, remember when we thought they were doing it the worst?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
and they did an unbelievable lockdown. Like, people were not allowed outside, and now it's done. Now they have 180 cases. We have 180 cases in Santa Cruz.
Yeah. I've never
have
been
as
restricted from driving to another city at all during this whole thing. I've never once been restricted from traveling. And I have an essential badge if I needed it, but I've never even talked to anybody. They've never even tried to stop me from spreading or going anywhere.
Yeah, and Santa Cruz just announced that we're lifting the beach closure.
Oh, dude.
Oh, I saw
The
that.
county-
They gave up.
the
They said they
county-
gave up.
The county medical director said, and this is a direct quote, "The people are no longer willing to be governed in this regard," which is a great precedent. I'm really
That's
stoked.
so awesome. That's
I think that, so I'm going to get everybody to buy a
shit.
drum set, and we're all going to start playing at 9 p.m. We can be done with the noise ordinances in a week. Everybody
we're
is
just
going
not
to be
willing to
allowed
do
to
it.
party. No, we're not willing to be governed in this regard. I want to be as loud as possible. I don't care about your eardrums. I want to play my drums.
I never
Thank God no
thought
one's gonna
about that.
die. No one's gonna die. No one's gonna die. That'll be the song I'd play all day. No one's gonna die.
So-
If you just get a bunch of people and do the thing that people don't want you to do, they'll just give up trying to get you to not do it.
Well, masks are tyranny, and COVID is good.
Yeah.
As you have a mask
scary.
around your neck.
So to answer your question, I don't see, like, we're not gonna stop doing it if there's still demand. And currently, like, we've been growing. The first one we did was pretty good. The first one we did, we got 24 cars. Each car had between 1 and 4 people in it, with the median being about 2.2. So
Sick.
we're averaging. We started at like 40 people,
40, 50. Yeah.
and now we get about 100 people.
Heck yeah.
And
That's awesome.
They're tipping, they're donating. All the comics are getting paid better than what I was able to pay people at my showcase of the Poet on First Fridays. So like,
Nice.
so
Technically
it's
more successful.
On paper, yeah. I mean, I would get 100. I would get 100 people at the Poet on a good first Friday. I'd get 100 people, but there are, they are paying their money to the bar. They're buying beers, and that's how. So they would tip whatever, and I would be able to pay. I mean, I don't remember which of you guys has done my first Friday show at the Poet. I think I've booked both of you guys on it. Neither, and now I'm an asshole. Okay, so see you later, guys.
No worries. No worries. I was too busy. Any date you were gonna offer, anyways.
It's not like it was gonna pay good. So, I mean, like,
It's all good.
on a good
That's why
night,
I was gonna be busy.
Yeah, it was good. It's on a good night. I would be able to pay you guys like $10 to drive from Salinas, and now I'm able to pay people $25-$50 for doing a
Nice.
10-minute set.
Yeah.
And
It's pretty cool.
so like
The point that they're not spending the money at the bar, you got a whole car full of people. They're not spending money at a bar. They can bring whatever snacks they want.
They hit the
and
liquor
stuff.
store.
Yeah, but they don't have
And-
to. They're not charging an up rate. They're basically paying like way lower rates for everything. Way more
Yeah,
comfortable.
they're paying wholesale to drink in the back of their pickup truck.
That's
That
what
sounds like a
tells
good
me
time.
This is something that could last well after COVID.
Yeah.
That's why the reason I was
Well,
asking. I see
mean,
like
that's what
a
I'm-
demand that people are finding now, but that same demand to be comfortable in your car and not worry about the people next to you, laugh with your friends, you don't have to feel guilty about laughing at a joke maybe and all that shit. It totally is a new dynamic. How does it feel doing the comedy though to the cars?
It's very strange, and nobody knows. My favorite thing is the security is with rent-a-cops. There's the first alarm guys that patrol the parking lot. The first time they pulled through, the first show, I was like, oh, god damn it. But I'm a handsome white man, so I just walked on up and I did the charming. Cam, you know what that's like. And Michael, not so much, but
100%. 100%. I
but
don't have
I
a
was
lawyer.
just-
I just have more charming.
Yeah. Well, my brother's a lawyer, so I got that one too. But I walked up and I was like, gentlemen, good to see you. We're not doing anything. And they were like, yeah, we don't care. Anybody have any funny ones today? That's it.
Okay.
And so,
okay.
like, every Friday night, they come through, and they're just, I say what's up to them. They say what's up. We have to take a picture to show to our boss. So they find a place in the parking lot where nobody is, and they take a picture of that to show their boss.
and then they
they're
do
like,
nothing about car bombs.
Anybody have it? Yeah, they take a picture of a blown up Birkenstock. Yeah, that was annoying. Just like they showed up like 30 minutes later, and it's like the one time I could have used you.
Yeah,
guys.
seriously, I was gonna say, where were they for that?
One time I needed you here.
I can't believe, at the context, we started with the bomb story and wrapped up with how nice the security guys are. But
Yeah, how nice and useless. Just like showing up so they can check a box and then move on. It's just like, guys.
oh my gosh. So
But people
That's
have had some really funny ones. I don't know if you guys have seen any Zoom shows, but a lot of people are just doing their set as it used to be, and that makes sense on paper because you're like, okay, well,
This
I've
is
been
my good
doing
stuff.
this set for a few years, so and it works, and I've polished it, so I've got to do this. But what we're doing here, what we're doing in a drive-in is totally different. We're not in a bar anymore. We're not doing bar shows, and that world is gone. That world, it's a bent bone. I mean, the world will bend back to that, but that's 2 or 3 years from now, and by then we'll be so used to what we're doing now that it'll be unrecognizable. That when we get back to what we considered normal, we'll just be like, what the fuck is this? And everybody has to relearn again. So we're in the second process. We're in the first process of relearning, and we're going to have to do it again. And the people that are really talented and funny are doing...
they're always going to make someone laugh.
Yeah, they're doing stuff that's like relevant to right now. So like, I mean, people doing Zoom chat. Like I was saying with the not that I'm really talented and funny. I've been doing comedy 10 years, and I run a drive-in show that just got bombed in Santa Cruz, so I'm not anywhere. But I mean, like I was doing my sample pad. I would do my dumb jokes, but then I would have like an air horn, and I would have a rim shot, or I would have Joe Biden saying, "That's malarkey," and.
You should get the "You ain't black" quote. That's the good sound clip for Biden
you
right
ain't
now.
black.
You ain't black. That's the Biden soundbite of the
he's
century.
The good one. That's so funny. He's the good one, and that's what he
He's
says.
the one who doesn't shoot people in the face. Would you believe that?
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've had some really funny, people, you don't think about what you think you're just going to do your bits that you've been writing lately, and you go on stage. And we have a stage for the drive-in comedy show. It's not
You add the
great,
form. You do what you
but
can.
yeah, it was one of our woodworking projects. We built a stage, but you get on there, and you realize like, oh shit, I'm literally just talking to a bunch of cars. I look like a crazy person. And some
And
people
the
have
reaction, the headlights, like that's gotta be weird as shit.
Oh, it's great.
Do people do that? Is that what people do? They flash their high
Thanks.
beams?
I'm so glad you like it.
Well, so as soon as the shutdown happened, I was like, I bet we could do a drive-in comedy show. And I wasn't sure how to do the transmission part. And then a guy in the Alaska scene posted about it, and I sent him a message, and I was like, yo, there's a scene in Alaska, and he didn't like that.
It's a really niche comedy market to network with, but I'm glad you're doing the Lord's work.
Exactly. But he told me the transmitter to get that would send it out. So, I mean,
Just an FM transponder, basically, some sort of.
Yeah, you gotta buy a certain one, because like the ones that you or I have in our cars are like good enough for like 20 feet, but you need one that shoots 100 yards.
Yeah.
So long story short, we got it all set up, but you're still standing on stage just talking to a bunch of cars, and in the Alaska scene they do honks for laughs because ain't nobody there. And it doesn't matter. But we're in downtown Santa Cruz, and we're trying to not draw attention to ourselves and get like the fucking noise ordinance or whatever. So we went with headlight flashes, and that's also been problematic because people's cars die.
Oh.
Yeah. So here's my thing. What do hecklers do? Do they like shine their brights? Like, is there some way to tell you they
No,
don't
dude,
like
it's
your
the
joke?
fog lights.
That's funny. Yeah, the fog lights.
Or the
No,
blink lights.
they turn on their hazards. They're just
Yeah, just the hazards. Yeah.
yeah, they turn on their hazards just because they're a hazardous audience member.
They just start revving their
Blinking.
engines super loud over you.
I didn't think about it, but the stage probably takes care of the headlight glare. So on stage, you're probably not getting
Yeah, that
like
was the
blinded
idea.
by
So
that.
the idea was, if we're doing a show for people in cars, then they're not going to be able to see over the cars, and it's going to be weird. So, we just raised people up by about 20 inches.
Some guy with a lifted truck is gonna come in and just knock one of you guys off the stage. Well, no, it's San Francisco. There are no lifted trucks.
Yeah,
Someone's
you're
Tesla is
Salinas,
going to be on
buddy.
autopilot glitch and just start driving back and forth in front of the stage over and
Oh,
over
every
again.
once in a while, somebody gets
Turn
to the
off the
show
dance
late.
app.
Every once in a while,
What's
somebody
that?
gets to the show late, and they just drive right in front
Oh
of
my
the comics.
God.
Because all the front rows are taken already, because, you want to get a front row seat, you show up at 7:30. And then some people show up at 8:30, and they're just, like, driving really slow. Because they don't want to be rude, so they're not driving fast.
They're just
So
doing
they're
laps
just
back and forth
making
looking
it
for a spot.
longer. They're just driving slow, and they're just like, sorry, everybody. And it's just like, move on.
I want to see somebody
go
park in the
around.
front and then turn their signal on like they're waiting for somebody to leave and then just sit there. I'm
It's
waiting
like,
for
I'm
this
trying to
spot.
go to Urban Outfitters, you guys. Can someone move?
Confused. Yeah.
But so yes, some of my favorite jokes that I've seen lately have been people riffing on the car. Like John Alcabez is a Palo Alto comedian. Well, he moved to New York, and then New York became terrifying, so he moved back. And I think he's back in San Francisco now. But he had a really funny riff where he got on stage and he was like, I want to do crowd work, not to like the people in the cars, just like to the cars. Just like, hey, are you two together? Do your parents mind that you're dating a Volkswagen?
That's funny.
That's
that
good.
weird?
That's good.
He's like reading the license plates as if they're like what people are saying. Just like, dude, you are talking gibberish. 6? What are you talking about? Nonsense.
That's
That's
awesome.
pretty funny.
I've gotten to see, and that's what I'm trying to say is like, people have been doing new interesting stuff in this environment, and that's just what's gonna happen for I think
comedy does
2 or 3 years, and then we're gonna go back to. I mean, nothing's gonna happen quickly.
Yeah.
We're gonna slowly start going back to bars, and we're gonna slowly start having more. And you're never gonna see I mean, you've been to the Poet when it's packed before and it's standing room only. You're not gonna see that again for years. But
Yeah,
it's
just
gonna slowly.
Even if people are allowed to, I think there's still enough people who just like aren't willing to do something like that.
You've seen the Trump rallies, dude. People like licking each other's faces during a pandemic.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
that's-
like
that's-
you can do.
To be fair, and the TikTok kids, the K-pop stands, fucked up their
Yes.
ticketing and stuff, but they didn't even fill up that place. They got
Yeah.
6,100 people in a 1,900 or a 19,000 person stadium. So if they
there's an
can't
impact.
fill up with the Trump people,
Good point. Good point.
that's gotta
Good
gotta
point.
tell you something, man.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's that is my stance on that. But
Well, nothing's gonna change in the meantime. You're the person putting the cast on. At least you're doing something in the meantime to kind of correct action. You're bringing comedy back, trying to come up with new shows to produce and stuff. So that's progress, man. That's a step towards a normal world where we can all enjoy comedy how we want.
Well, thank you, and I'd love to have you guys on, and I'd love to.
I'm busy.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't actually want you on anyway. So, but I mean, there's I think that every scene should have something like this, and it's starting to happen in the
idea.
Bay, and more and more you see people doing drive-in stuff, and you guys could definitely do it in Salinas. I can point you to you guys have the equipment. All you need is to spend $50 on a transponder and a 3-pronged outlet converter for a car. But you guys can absolutely do this too. I would be more than happy to show you how. So
That'd be interesting. Schedule-wise, it's hard to say because we're still trying to do this show and everything like that. But honestly, the idea of getting a local comedy scene back is good. I've actually been trying to look into an outdoor venue where we can do separated seating.
That's cool. Yeah, did you see the new Chappelle special?
Oh, so good, and the setting was perfect. And that was
exactly
even
what he
more
did.
conservative. He was even really on the conservative side because he had a lot of space between chairs and he had a table and everything. We're very poor. We don't have Chappelle budget, so everyone's gonna get their own. Yeah, everyone's gonna get a little pile of rocks.
In Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah, and so we're gonna have a different system. It's gonna look different, but the idea of having like an outdoor show though, totally doable, totally feasible, and I'm not against it. Isn't that you went to the San Francisco Comedy Festival and they had stuff like outdoor, daytime, like they did all kinds of things. That worked some of it, right?
Oh, Comedy Day?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of options. It's a matter of figuring. Well, necessity. I don't remember who said this, but necessity is the mother of invention.
Albert Einstein.
Oprah. I thought it was Oprah.
Thank you.
My bad.
Probably.
You thought it was Oprah?
She says a lot, so keep going.
But yeah, I mean that's how stuff gets created. Is like, oh, we have this such and such restriction, so we got to figure it out.
Cool to see, man. Well, thanks for putting the work in the scene. Thanks for surviving the car bombing. And
my hand will live to fall another day.
any other plugs or shows you got coming up? You want to give some shout out for the fans?
Oh no, I don't need people knowing where to car bomb me, or to shoe bomb me.
Someone's gonna do the George W. Bush, just like throw one at you.
They're gonna throw a shoe at me. Throw a shoe bomb at me. I run comedy audiences in cars watching comedy. It is a very long and stupid name for a stupid show. We are every Friday night at 8 p.m. in the Church Street parking lot which is in downtown Santa Cruz, between Walnut and Church streets, above the Walnut Avenue Cafe. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Area Comedian. One day I hope to graduate from Area Comedian. One day I hope to be Regional Comedian, but currently I am Area Comedian on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
It's better area comedian than closet comedian. Yeah, so
Currently I'm a closeted comedian.
what you guys got for takeaways there, Seven Michael?
Well, I was just gonna say, we as you've illustrated, there's a lot of obstacles to keeping the stuff that we're used to going. But yeah, people always will find a way, even if that just means fucking pull up in your car to the top floor of a parking garage. Fuck it, come through. So that's
no shoe bumps.
Yeah, no shoe bumps allowed. Put a sign.
That's a
up
new
front.
policy, so we're sorry to the fans, but
Yeah, no Birkenstocks allowed.
I know everybody was getting excited to bring their shoe bombs, but
My takeaway is that Sam should trace the outline of his not injured hand so that he can know what it's like to have a not injured hand, much like his bookshelf. And his hand will not be injured then. That is my takeaway.
Should I do it like a
That's
stick
nice.
figure?
Yes.
Like a stick figure hand?
Yeah. Draw a healthy hand, and then you'll have a healthy hand.
yeah. My takeaway is that everybody should go check out Sam and honestly visit him in person. The beaches are open. Let's go.
Well,
Peace out.
that's why there's been shoe bombs. Is the shoe bombers are not willing to be governed. So
They can't be governed. You can't govern a shoe bomber.
The shoe bombers are not willing to be governed. So we're just gonna have to let it happen.
There's probably already an Instagram page. Shoe bombers will not be governed. That's like an admin,
Yeah, some
1,000 users.
Facebook group.
I would not be.
Ta-
It's probably Santa Cruz
taxation is
specific.
theft.
Santa
Shoe
Cruz shoe
bombers
bombers will not be governed. You got any takeaways from your first time on the podcast there, Sam?
This was so fun. My takeaway is you guys all have better equipment than me, so I feel dunked on. Let's see. You're all very mean about my bad drawing abilities, and just so vulgar. I can't, in good conscience, promote this show to anybody. I really wish that I hadn't done this. You guys. My takeaway is I want to hang out with Sebastian and play with his synthesizer.
Yeah, I've got all sorts of dumb shit over here.
I want to hang out with Sebastian and play with his
justify
ding-dong.
my purchases.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and it's really cool to see that there's such a vibrant scene in Salinas, and that you guys are still doing stuff even though everything's canceled.
Yep. Thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for giving us time, and I can't wait to taste those Sam's Famous burgers, man.
Oh
Yeah.
boy! As soon
For
as
real.
the bone is done being bent, we will have the best Sam's Famous burgers you've ever had. I guarantee you.
I can eat a burger with a boner. I'm just saying. We can go there. Check me out on Instagram at cambeasy.berry and YouTube at CB Comedy.
I'm on Instagram, Seinfeld, SIGHN Feld, and also Fuckerberg.
Young Baphomet _ on Instagram and the fucking Twitter machine.
And I'm at _mboof on Twitter and Instagram, and then Facebook, YouTube, Michael Booth.
And don't forget to check out the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Instagram and also the Cowboy Rowdy Podcast on Facebook.